Check, check, Mike. Well, everyone, happy Thanksgiving to the fellow Americans out there, and welcome to round 7 of season 9 for SRL. It is the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And boy, do we have nearly a full grid today. We have a lot of drivers returning for the first time this season, a few returning for the first time in a few races. Nicolo Faltaresi back, Sky Schundemeyer, another American in the field, back for his first race of this season. Should be a good one. Jensen Randall, Jamie Yearstrom, Logan Oren, the podium from last week, all here. The winner of last year's Abu Dhabi Grand Prix with SRL. Logan Oren looking to keep it going. Koivuniemi, last year's third place. Also going to be looking to continue his hot streak. As we go here down the straight of the Yas Marina circuit into turn 6, drivers need to watch out right here for the curb as they go into the chicane. Around turn 7, and another DRS zone, not unusual to kind of switch during that first straight, and then switch again here during the second DRS zone. So Jensen Randall allowed the McLaren to go by. And I believe that's Pablo Baz. We'll follow him to get the first timed lap of the session. Pablo Baz returning for his second race. The Spaniard in the McLaren, and away we go. On the soft compounds, going around turn 1. Maximizing the width of the track around here. Turns 2, 3, and then 4. And then a tricky hairpin of turn 5 coming up here. A little wide perhaps on the line there, not getting as close to that apex. And then here you really want to find the perfect line as straight as possible as we get into turn 6. Kind of near the middle of the track it looks like, but as you can see it kind of curves back in. Does well there. Gets around the chicane. Doesn't seem to have the car unsettled at all by any potholes there on turn 6. Come around here the second straight. A little bit of a spoon turn here as we get closer to the hotel section of the Yas Marina circuit. And another tricky turn here, 90 degrees. There it is, the hotel itself, and then some flat out turns here, right here, turn 15. Should be nice and flat out, coming around. And just about one more turn to make and you're all done. A 1:22.6 for Pablo Baz. And I imagine Jensen Randall should be the next to put up a time. So it comes around here. 1:22.1 for Logan Oren. Jensen Randall going to be a 1:21.8. Meanwhile, Christian Dorman, the 1:22.9 in the Williams. So nice close times so far. Yearstrom about to finish his first. A 1:22.4, going to be looking to improve, I'm sure. The man who made all the moves, all the overtakes last week. Meanwhile, it's Sky Schundemeyer on the Alpine. Joining other Americans on the track. Logan Oren going to be looking for a compatriot perhaps on the podium with him. He'll be starting his timed lap here soon as he turns around turn 16. And here we go. Around turn 1. into the nice flowing turns of 2, 3, and 4. There's technically one right there. That's the end of Sector 1, a purple sector for Sky Schindelmeyer. And you see the Ferrari, I believe that's might be an Alpha in front of him. I think a little too far away to get a tow. But a little bit of the curve, you saw the car get a little unsettled there. You can cut that curve. It's all 4 tires that have to be off track at the same time. But perhaps Sky Schindelmeyer, the first one we've seen on the broadcast, to encounter one of those invisible potholes, invisible drain covers that came loose there on turn 6. Comes around here, turns 11 and 12 into the hotel section here. Going to be flat out a little bit of the ways ahead of him. Of course, I'll have to watch out for traffic ahead. Into the pit. Ooh, I don't think that was an invalidation. They got the front of the car back in. Sky Schindelmeyer 124.4. Not going to be helped by turn 6, giving him a little trouble there. Meanwhile, Noah Smith in the Haas. Going to be starting his lap. You see the leaderboard on the left there. Pablo Bas still a very good lap, 122.6, ahead of Alexei Koivuniemi, Sandro Dulis, Christian Dorman, Freya Belay. Strong drivers. And it's actually coming into the pits. Noah Smith. We'll go to the man currently in P4 in the McLaren, second race with SRL. The Spaniard, Pablo Bas. He'll come around and start his second lap, looking to improve on a 122.6. We'll be able to see the splits. Nice view here. Not a lot of elevation here at Yas Marina. This is about as much as you're going to get. And then back down. Brakes at the 50 board. Good rotation on the car into the straight. Don't necessarily want to hug that white line to the right because the track will come in from that side. Through the chicane for Pablo Bas. Back on the power. DRS zone right here. And he'll be finishing Sector 2 here shortly. A purple Sector 2. Nearly 2/10 for Pablo Bas found there. Looking much more comfortable in his second race compared to last week at Baku for him. The flat out turn 15. Coming around, last one, 16, get it across the line. Don't invalidate. And it's a 122.3 for Pablo Bas, an improvement above the young Dane Jägerstrom into P3. Well done for him. Meanwhile, Logan Orn, the closest man to Jenson Randall, current points leader. Full-time driver for Aston Martin now, Jenson Randall. Going to be helping them greatly in the Constructors' Championship. A strong team, him and Alexei Koivuniemi. You see their Mercedes right behind Logan, going to be getting a tow perhaps on some of the straights if he maintains this spacing. And here comes Logan. Dirty air can make this section a little difficult. Looks like the Mercedes of believe that was Ivan Brito. Came to a stop there in Sector 1. Meanwhile, Logan Oren going to get into the straight here, DRS zone, between turns 5 and 6. And you see there, Logan Oren not taking nearly as much of the curb as others. A little risk reward here, I think, for him. Can be faster to go on that curb, but you are really leaving it up to a random chance that you might catch something and lose quite a bit of grip. Purple sector 2 for Logan Oren. Maybe he's onto something with the strategy into turn 6. Track evolution, track a little more rubbered in now. Driver's putting up faster times. Logan around the Williams there. One more turn, and we'll see where he's going to be. It should be an improvement, and it'll be a 1:21.9, so a second driver into the 121s. A purple sector 2, a purple sector 3, meaning Jensen Randall must be finding a little bit more time in sector 1 there. And now Jägerström will be starting his next time to lapse here soon, as you see the Red Bull in front of him of Nick Van Gelder. Jägerström aggressive with the tire strategy last week. Bet it all on there being safety cars. He was right. The Finn Alexei Koivuniemi, similar strategy, but just hard done by a safety car right after he had pitted to go off the softs. And Jägerström looking to improve. 122.4, good enough for P4 right now, but only by about half a tenth over Alexei Koivuniemi. Meanwhile, Freya Balai just comes in with a 122.3, only a hundredth of a second behind Pablo Baz. So everyone really starting to find the time now. A little bit more curve there for Jägerström than we saw Logan Oren with through the chicane. One more DRS zone here. Coming back in the big sweeping turn 9. Into what is a difficult braking zone for me at the very least of turn 12 there. And then from here you can just put the pedal to the floor. Strange line. Okay, taking it to the pits. Didn't have the speed there. Check in with the Ferrari driver Dion Stahl. Currently 123.5 on the board. Losing a little time there already into Sector 1, and saw a little bit of trouble with the chicane. So it might be hard to find improvements here, already a 10th down. Kind of a little bit. In the new Ferrari livery. It is a pretty one. We'll see him and perhaps Sandro Dulis in the same. Two teammates, the longest tenured teammates in SRL. And he'll go into the pits too. See the Alpine there getting the tires to temperature. I believe that's Max Mulder. And Max Mulder, some good finishes lately. Sky Schindemeyer, his teammate today. We have a full grid of 20. Nice to see so many out here for SRL. Round 7. Should make for an interesting race. So Ivan Brito goes wide. You hope that's not so late in the lap that it'll invalidate the next. I shouldn't think it would be. And here he goes. Likely the last opportunity for him to improve on the 124.5. Into the sweeping turns 2, 3, and 4. That'll be it for Sector 1. He's 300ths faster than his previous time. Coming around here after turn 5 on the straight, DRS engaged. And almost no curb at all there for Ivan Brito. So he comes around through the chicane. One more DRS zone. In and around turn 9. Purple sector 2 for Ivan Brito. He found nearly 3/10 there in sector 2. So he could improve his qualifying position by at least a couple spots here as we go around. And a good time to get his last flyer in. As you can see, the track is packed. Just about everybody out there. So almost definitely 7/10 improvement for Ivan Brito. Does improve qualifying position quite a bit. So well done for him. Meanwhile, Jensen Randall. We'll see where Logan Orend is on track. Logan Orend a little bit behind Jensen Randall on the outlap as Jensen's going to start his last lap here for qualifying. Going to be looking to improve. Logan probably going to be improving from 120 to 1.9. But it is the championship leader. Previously reserve driver, now full-time in the Aston Martin. Purple Sector 1. That's where he seems to be having the advantage over the other drivers, is in Sector 1. Goes here down the straight. You see Logan Orend behind him just coming out of turn 6. All of the curb for Jensen Randall. Goodness. There you see the big difference between the other drivers and Jensen Randall. Already a solid qualifying time for him, so I'm sure well worth the risk of unsettling the car. And the Alpine making quite a bit of space for him as he comes through turn 9. You can just hear how much of the curb Jensen Randall gets each time. This is how you qualify on pole position. You find every bit of time you can everywhere on the track. This will come around. It's going to be an improvement, I believe. Yes, 121.69. Logan Orend right behind him. He's improved only by a few thousandths. So asking for 3/10 may be a bit much. Does improve though, 121.8. So found nearly a full tenth there in Sector 3. Jägerström, a lot of traffic around him, which is unfortunate because he's certainly going to be hoping to find that 100th of a second to get up to Pablo Baza's spot in P3, but Christian Dorman next to him. The McLaren right in front of him. So he, as you see there, in the 130s, never really threatened. So there you have it. It's Jensen Randall on pole, Logan Orend just behind him in second, Pablo Baz, a great showing in his second SRL race, in third. Danish driver Jamie Jägerström for Freya Belay in fifth, Alexei Koivuniemi, Sandro Dulis, Noah Smith, Max Mulder, Christian Dorman rounding out the top 10. And you see there, Only a second from P1 to P12. That might be some of the closest qualifying we've had here at an SRL race in Season 9. So we'll get ready for 29 laps around Yas Marina here in Abu Dhabi. Last year's winner, Logan Oren, going to be starting P2. Newcomer to SRL, Pablo Boz, starting just behind Jensen Randall in row 2. So a lot less work needed for Järrström this week compared to last week to make a podium finish. But Pablo Boz is looking dialed in here in Abu Dhabi. And here we go. It is Abu Dhabi. We should have a nice overcast day turning into night. And you see our drivers there. The Red Bull, Nick Van Gelder, Noah Smith. Should be a good race. A pretty tight qualifying, all things considered. And with a full grid, pit strategy going to be a little bit more important than we're used to seeing. Don't want to accidentally double stack. Happens, we've all done it in a public lobby by accident, I'm sure. As we'll get the formation lap underway here. And you check the tire strategies. As always, Logan Oren going for the faster compound compared to Jensen Randall on the hard. And it's a pretty good bit of almost randomization, it looks like. Jensen Randall, Järrström, Alexei Koivuniemi, Max Mulder, Dion Stahl, Ivan Brito, Nicolo Faltaresi, Luke Smith, your runners on the hard compound, everybody else on the medium. So a change from last week for Järrström. Unless he's just hoping to get that hard compound out of the way. Trying to get the temperature into the tires. And Jensen Randall, the Constructor Championship leader right now, and Drivers Championship leader, doing a lot of work in the Aston Martin with Koivuniemi. I would say passing the eye test, looking like the strongest team, the most consistent team. And everyone will come in to find their place on the grid here. So you see Jensen Randall going to be on the outside going into turn 1. Logan Oren going to be on the inside. Essentially the even-numbered qualifiers will have the inside line coming into turn 1. But here we are, it's Yas Marina Circuit. It is the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix SRL Season 9 Round 7. We're on board with Jensen Randall as the lights come on. The revs are up, the lights are off, and here we go. The start of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix for SRL. Jensen Randall a good start, a great start for Jensen Randall. Meanwhile, Logan Oren spins. It might have been Pablo Boss who caught him, and I'm sure the onboard mics of Logan Oren are going to catch him saying something very colorful. That is so unfortunate. Turn 1, Logan Oren out already. Really going to open up here the podium. Such an unfortunate thing for Logan Oren. Always a strong driver. The American certainly got up early. Meanwhile, Pablo Boss getting the pass on Jensen Randall in the straight and just parks it on the apex. No DRS. It is lap 1. Jensen Randall, as I said during qualifying, you see it a lot. Someone makes the overtake on the first straight, and then the second straight right here, like Jensen Randall's trying to do, they end up giving that position back. And we'll have a VSC. It looks like Pablo Boss was able to get just ahead of Jensen Randall before the VSC was called. It looks like the Alfa Romeo of Nicolo Falzaresi, the Red Bull of Luke Smith, behind the pack a little bit. And now we're going to a full safety car. And you can ignore the possible race strategies that only just popped up, because the safety car is really going to alter that, I'm sure. So Pablo Boss, your race leader. First lap of his second race with SRL, a great qualifying for him. Gets the overtake on Jensen Randall, stays out of the trouble that got Logan Oren. And you hate to see it. Logan Oren is such a strong driver. Some strong results. Last year's champion. The winner of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix last year with SRL. Second place was Tim Ventink. So, of course, the podium going to be possibly very different than last year. Alexei Koivuniemi finishing third. Currently in fourth. Pit stops for Nicolo Falzaresi and Luke Smith. So they won't lose much time, but they will be at the back of the pack as you see them on the mini-map catching up, coming around turn 5 now. So some hard luck from Logan. Waking up early, the American. It is bright and early in the States for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Pablo Boss in the McLaren. Not the first time we've seen a McLaren up front this season, but it had been Freya Belay before. And it's alternating orange and green. McLaren, Aston, McLaren, Aston. As Noah Smith now finds himself the only Haas on the grid in P5. We'll have at least one more lap on the safety car. So, perhaps a similar start to last week in Baku. DRS is such a big factor here at Yas Marina on those two straights, but once we get restarted, it'll still be a little bit before we see DRS. And with a safety car so early, a full grid, will these drivers bank on there being another one? Go aggressive with the tire strategy? We'll have to see. It worked for Jägerström last week. On board here with the McLaren. Still my favorite livery. I'll say that right now. So a good drive from Pablo Boss today. Clearly knows his way around Abu Dhabi. Great qualifying session. Found his way into the race lead before the VSC, and then very quickly an actual safety car. He'll be the one to restart today. A lot of restarts last week, but I believe the only people to get us racing again, Jenson Rando and Logan Oren, and Logan's not going to be restarting any races today, unfortunately. So Pablo Ball's really slowing it down here. Safety car quite a ways ahead at this point. Of course, the game does limit you during safety cars. We'll go on board so we can get a good, clear restart. And it sounds like he has opened it up. We are racing again. We'll try a take two here at Abu Dhabi. Pablo Baz 7/10 behind him is Jenson Randall. Pablo Baz does have the tire advantage as we go again into turn one. It was too eventful last time for us. And the grid bunched up. Hopefully we get through it. No problem. We'll go a little further back. Looks like Jesper Limpinen able to get around Ivan Brito. And the cars bunched up, coming around turn 5 into the straight. And Brito continuing to kind of trade positions there with Nicolo Falzaresi. And it looks like Jenson Randall, while we were away, going for the overtake around the chicane on the outside. Had the inside line on turn 6, outside on turn 7. Jenson Randall now into third as the McLarens are ganging up on him. And we are nearly 3 wide as we get into the straight here. Inside line for Jenson Randall. Coming around turn 9, it's Freya Belay getting ahead, and Jenson Randall still looking pressured from the other McLaren of Pablo Baz into the hotel section. And a frenetic restart here as Freya Belay goes from P3 to P1. We're still alternating McLarens and Astons. Alexei Koivuniemi, like he does so often, content to watch the battle in front of him and bide his time. But Jenson Randall, he had to work last week, lost out to Logan Oren. Looks like he's going to have to do some more work this week. And it appears Dion Stahl, unfortunately, found himself the wrong way into turns 1 and 2. He'll rejoin. Just a yellow flag. No VSC, no safety car. As you see Pablo Baz making the move, it looks like. Ran out of space. Tried to switch back, but I think too compromised on turn 6 to have it coming out of turn 7. And Pablo Baz is battling here as he goes for the outside line into turn 9. And usually with Jenson Randall at the top, we see him and Logan Oren just looking to make space to the rest of the pack up there. Nothing crazy, willing to swap position a few times strategically. But Pablo Baz said, if there's a gap, I am a driver, I'm going to go for it. He is on the medium compound. He's likely really causing those tires to work very hard as we have DRS enabled for this lap. So if you're Jenson Randall, you do have Pablo Baz battling with you, and Jenson seemingly just let Pablo get by him. Jenson Randall really falling down. I'm not sure what's going on with him. But Jenson Randall suddenly just tumbling down the grid. And this is not something we're used to seeing. Jenson Randall in P5 and on the DRS straight. Going to continue to fall. And not sure what's going on with Jenson Randall. No obvious damage that I can see. But we'll go back up to the top of the grid. Freya Belay really finding quite a bit of space now as Alexei Koivuniemi gets into second. 2 seconds here for Freya Belay. Jensen Randall starts to work his way back up, but be curious to see the onboards to know exactly what happened to him. And Freya Balai, the only man in the shot right now. I'm not sure where he found all this time, but he sure has. So keep moving. We'll stick with Jensen Randall because that's where all the action seems to be. Järström looking for the overtake now. Noah Smith's going to get it in the Haas. And if there's damage, it's nothing that can be replaced because Jensen Randall did not pit. And I believe it's Max Mulder now, stuck in Sector 3. Car is drivable. No VSC needed. We are racing again. Green flags here as we go into the straight. And I should think, coming out of the chicane, Alexei Koivuniemi should have a relatively easy overtake here on Pablo Boss if that's what he would like. We have seen Koivuniemi manage ERS and tires before. He might be doing that now. Defensive line there from Pablo Boss. Well, it is promising to be a very exciting race here. Logan Oren out, Jensen Randall in 5th. So everything up for grabs here. Pablo Boss in only his 2nd SRL race into 2nd. As you see Max Mulder coming out of the pit there on the left side of your screen on the soft compound tire. A bit more of a scenic exit from the pits here at Abu Dhabi, of course. I'll go under the track and rejoin on the left side. And we'll join Järström as he looks at the diffuser here of Jensen Randall. And Järström, easy as you like, the overtake after turn 6 there. But again, not unusual for a driver who gets overtaken to just return the favor here on the next straight. And Jensen takes a look on the inside, and it looks like, yes, he will get it there. But Järström not going to give it up that easily. And these drivers are racing today, my goodness. Jensen gets through. Both these drivers on the hard compound tire. I don't think there will be any extensions on the stints today with the way everyone's driving. At the front during all this, Freya Balai has now extended that lead to nearly 4.5 seconds on the medium compound. Alexei Koivuniemi on the hard compound. So we'll see how the second stint for each goes, but Freya Balai may as well be in qualifying here, a practice session, time trial mode, because he's not seeing anyone else anywhere on his screen right now. And the Alpine of Sky Schundelmeyer. Luke Smith behind him in the Red Bull. As they come around, it is a straight. Good opportunity here for Luke Smith in the DRS zone. You're going to see, there it is. There it is open. And Luke Smith not quite close enough to make it happen, it seems. But as this happens, it looks like Jensen Randall looking to make his way back past Järström. These two really just trading positions. And it looks like in Sector 1, Max Mulder with the yellow flag. But again, drivable. As Pablo Boss gets the pass done on Noah Smith, who found himself in P2 briefly, as Alexei Koivuniemi into P4. And we'll go to the lone Haas. And what a podium this projects to be right now. Freya Balai wouldn't be a stranger to it. Noah Smith and Pablo Boss, though. In a field that includes Logan Orn and Jensen Randall. And Simone Amara on most weeks. So a lot of points opportunities for drivers who have been working hard. Noah Smith comes in through the chicane a bit wide. It's going to compromise the entry and exit on the second half. And we'll see if Pablo Boz, with the help of DRS, is able to get the pass done here. He's looking to the inside. And he does get the nose out, and so close to Alexei Koivuniemi also getting the overtake done. There might have been contact. There's the yellow flag, and it's Koivuniemi. We'll go check in with him. Unfortunately, yes, there was indeed contact. So there it is, the third member of the podium from last year's Abu Dhabi Grand Prix now, way back in P10. And these drivers are driving hard and fast today. At this point, Freya Balai, Pablo Boz up where they are just because they've stayed out of trouble. And I believe there's going to be quite a few appeals to the stewards after today's race. No safety cars, at least not as many as in Baku. We did have a safety car turn 1. Lots of contact, lots of hard racing, but no stoppages in the race. And it looks like Noah Smith didn't engage DRS there. Surely he had it, based on the DRS detection zone going into P5. Kind of bullies his way around. Yearstrom and Smith and Jensen Randall and, oh, Pablo Boz into the barrier out of the chicane, and we're going to have a safety car. Wow. What a drive it had been for Pablo Boz. Qualified at the top of the grid in P3. Led a couple laps, but just finds himself again the contact here in the chicane. Freya Balai going to pit. I imagine a lot of people are going to be pitting. That big gap Freya Balai had worked to get sometimes as high as 4.5, 5 seconds going to be evaporated. And you see Freya Balai going to the hard compound. I think trying to make this one stint, but this is already the second safety car. Be curious to see what Yearstrom does behind him. Most of the field going to pit. Vincenzo Torre, who had just dipped into the pit, I believe, at the start of that safety car. And Yearstrom on the medium compound. Jensen Randall as well on the medium. They had started on the hard compound. And it is Luke Smith betting big, going to the softs. He'll definitely need another stop. But I'm kind of with him at this point. I think you have to believe there might be another safety car with as much contact as we've seen. And Noah Smith, an accidental disconnection. So hopefully he'll be able to get back in during the safety car. But he was in the pits, so that's gonna really complicate it too. And what a race it's been. Well, with the safety car, we're seeing some names back up near the top that we're used to seeing. Freya Balai, Jamie Yearstrom, Jensen Randall, Sandro Dulis, Nicolo Falzaresi. Your top 5 at the moment. We'll have another safety car. DRS again, not going to be in play. Jenson Randall going into the pits. So he had just went on the medium compound. Not exactly sure what Jenson Randall has need to go back into the pit for. But he'll be having a little bit more work to do. So some Verstappen-like drama here, where the man who's typically the fastest on the track suddenly finds himself with quite a few overtakes necessary to get back to the podium. As you see the Haas there, I believe, of Noah Smith appearing on track. Our safety car not so safely driving through him. So Jenson Randall did change tires. Coming out of pits, P14. Freya Belay, P1. Jägerström, P2. Sandro Dulis, P3. And it looks like the Alpine of Max Mulder coming out of the pits. Quite a bit of catching up to do. Although I believe the safety car will continue for another lap. I was just about to say, this is about the zone that we get notification of the safety car coming in, and it will. You know, I'm going to check on the Haas. So, a little stutter there. And that might make for a fun bit of drama later, but we'll go on with Freya Belay as he's about to open it up, I believe, coming into turn 15 here. He will be the man to restart it for the third time today. A third start here at Yas Marina. And there it is. Revs up. Freya Belay has restarted this race on lap 14. And we'll go down. Turn one's been so eventful. Nicola Falzaresi right on Sandro Dulis. Does have the tire advantage on the restart. Looks like he's going to get the overtake done here into turn 4, coming into the hairpin right before the DRS straight. And boy, I wonder if that Haas is really there, if they're just clipping through it. Nicola Falzaresi able to get the overtake into P3 now around the Greek driver. Jenson Randall into P12 from P14 already. Freya Belay, Jägerström, Falzaresi, Dulis, and Koivuniemi coming around that turn. A purple sector there for Nicola Falzaresi, although there might be a few purples all done consecutively on this lap. Alexei Koivuniemi looking now at Sandro Dulis. Again, tire advantage coming into play for the drivers right behind Sandro. Koivuniemi, the lead Aston Martin right now. He usually has been, but that's only because only recently was Jenson Randall a full-time Aston Martin driver. Koivuniemi looking, content to stay behind Dulis for now. Go around. And again, DRS going to come into play. The Haas, you saw it there briefly. No one's hit it yet, so I got to believe there is no collision box for it. And I got to believe Alexei Koivuniemi should have this overtake here. DRS not yet enabled, but gets it done. Noah Rosso Abio right behind Sandro Dulis in the other Alpha. As we go a little further back, Scott Schindelmeyer, looks like a lot of action back here. The timing table jumping back and forth. as they come into the hotel section. We'll try Jensen Randall here. Already up into P9. And another safety car. Right as I pull away from Sky Schindelmeyer, it looks like an incident for the American in the Alpine. And boy, oh boy. Go get a cup of coffee because this race might take a little bit longer than scheduled. So the third safety car of the day, 16 laps in here at Abu Dhabi. And I wonder, was this due to the Haas? Still on track. I mean, it is there. But I'd be curious to see what caused this incident. I'm sure in the highlights we'll be able to discover exactly what happened. But Freya Belay still up front, able to avoid all the action. Clean air in front of him, no traffic in front of him. If that Haas is still there on turn 5, shouldn't be a problem for him. It looks like Koivuniemi, Ivan Brito, Max Mulder, all pitting. Noah Smith, I believe, disconnected, so that pit stop may not have been planned. If you've been disconnected during a race in this game, you know the AI will make strange decisions for you. So Freya Belay will once again be the one to restart the race here, barring a pit stop from the Ethiopian driver. And there is indeed the Haas. So you saw there, Freya Belay, I believe, was able to drive through the Haas. Maybe it's just an artifact as a spectator that I see it. But at least not affecting the drivers as far as I can tell. And has the feeling of the safety car coming in this lap. We usually get notification around turns 15 or so. You see the tires there. Luke Smith, the only one on the soft compound, about 5 laps old. He'll be hoping for another safety car to get a change done at a discount, but he'll almost certainly need another stop to get to the end of this race. And looks like the safety car in this lap, yes indeed. That call a little later than it was last time. We'll go on board with Freya Belay, who's really slowing it down here. And it was about right here, I believe he cut it loose last time. And we're racing again at Abu Dhabi. Freya Belay, yet another restart, another safety car. We'll see what he can do, going very wide there. It looks like that is an Alpine of Max Mulder, who's a lap down. And another caution, I believe that's just going to be the car we saw going wide. Freya Belay, he had nearly a 5-second lead on P2 earlier, but the safety car is erasing that hard work. Jägerström coming around on the straight. Nicolo Falzaresi right behind him. And you see there, Nicolo Falzaresi taking the traditional line. Jägerström going to allow him to get the pass done. Jägerström perhaps managing those tires, managing that fuel. We've seen him do it before. Meanwhile, Jensen Randall falling a couple positions. The Aston Martin of Alexei Koivuniemi making good work coming back after the pit stop. The Red Bulls in front of the Aston Martins, Vincenzo Torre right behind Jensen Randall. Koivuniemi making the pass on Vincenzo Torre. And not something we're used to seeing. And sideways, it's the Alpha Torre of Jesper Limpinen. Looks like able to recover. The Red Bull of Luke Smith also needing some evasive actions there. Just a yellow flag, we're still driving. Meanwhile, Jensen Randall up into 7th. Freya Balai still in the lead. Nicolo Falzaresi still in P2. More action than we're able to keep up with. Jensen Randall nearly 2 seconds behind Nick Van Gelder in the Red Bull. And Nick Van Gelder's tires probably about even with Jensen Randall's, being that Nick has the harder compound. But if anyone can make up time in a hurry, it's going to be Jensen Randall, especially right here. We saw him do it during qualifying as the Aston Martin of Alexei Koivuniemi makes the pass on Christian Dorman in the background. Nice look there at Sander Dulis, Noah Rosso Abia, Nick Van Gelder. We'll go back up to the race lead because Nicolo Falzaresi is right on Freya Balai. And Jägerström, as he is so often doing, just watching in the background, waiting to pounce. And all sorts of combinations of drivers at the top of the grid today. Nicolo Falzaresi, welcome back in the Alfa Romeo, currently P2. DRS going to be enabled. Whoever ends up into P2 and P3 here, as we get into turn 5, almost certainly going to have it. And we'll see. Saw Nicolo Falzaresi taking a small look there. And now we'll see the DRS open for the red Alfa Romeo. The blue Williams right here should be, I would think, a relatively easy pass for Nicolo Falzaresi, and it is. The Italian driver now leading the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Jägerström, meanwhile, not able to close that gap anymore. But how about this? For the first time this season, it's Nicolo Falzaresi in the lead. Of course, Freya Balai going to have DRS coming into this second straight. But Nicolo able to maintain, in theory, a tire advantage. Not sure what the tire life is for the mediums compared to the hard compound. But over the next few laps, Freya Balai might be able to find a little bit more life in his tires than the drivers directly in front and behind him. In P7, Jensen Randall looking at Nick Van Gelder. Is he going to go for the overtake? He is. Coming into P1, is going to have the inside line and going to line it up for Noah Rosso Abia. Although back on the inside, Nick Van Gelder. And no one's making it easy for Jensen Randall today, as he comes in to the DRS detection zone. We'll be looking to pass the Alfa Romeo and close the gap on Sander Dulis in front of him to possibly, could he get into the DRS detection zone coming into the chicane? I believe he's going to be just short. And yes, about 1.1 as he hits the detection. So no DRS for Jensen Randall. However, Nick Van Gelder, everyone behind him, going to have it. And Jensen Randall, he is P5, but again, working much harder today than we've seen him usually have to work. A little bit further down, it is action-packed here in the P5 through P8, really. Quite a big points difference between P5 and P8. Alexei Koivuniemi on the freshest tires in the top half of the grid. However, medium compound for another 7 laps. We've seen him do it before. But you get the impression everyone around him is going to be pitting again. Hoping for a safety car, perhaps. Not one that they would be involved in. Koivuniemi going to get around Abia here. Should have DRS too, to really close the gap on Nick Van Gelder. As Nick Van Gelder not able to get DRS from Jenson Randall in front of him. So you play it safe here because you're going to get another DRS zone right after. And it turning sideways is Nick Van Gelder. So Koivuniemi gets the pass done, but I'm assuming he did not expect it to be like that. And the onboards will tell the story. The stewards, I'm sure, will be asked to look at that one. But a shame for Nick Van Gelder, who had such a good race. Now finding himself in P10, you hope there's no damage. And it looks like, yes, the end plate of the wing on the left side is missing, so he'll almost certainly have to come in. So Nick Van Gelder's race going to be pretty compromised here. Back up with Jenson Randall looking at Sandro Dulis now. Alexei Koivuniemi had dropped quite a ways back from Jenson Randall. I wonder if there's any damage there. He did not pit. But Jenson going to have DRS here into the straight between turns 5 and 6. Go on board at Jenson Randall through the straight. Oh, just a rocket ship. No issue there. Did use the last of the ERS. They see us flashing now. But P4 for Jenson Randall. About 10 spots he's made up since that second pit stop during one of the earlier safety cars. So Jenson Randall about 5 seconds to make up just to sniff the podium. But again, a safety car, and the race strategy will be really upended. And you see the penalty applied to Ehrstrom, but those are always reviewable. Look at your race director after we're done here. Protect yourself. As there's another safety car, it looks like the chicane. Nick Van Gelder involved in who knows what. Senna Hervire coming around. Nothing present there. Not sure. And boy, oh boy. You hope this will be the last safety car necessary, and I assume everyone's going to be going to the soft compound to finish out this race. So well timed for the top 3 in the grid. Especially Nicola Falzaresi, especially Jamie Ehrstrom. Medium compounds on 12 laps. And you see those closer to the pit at the time of the safety car going to the soft compound. My oh my. It's going to be a shootout here at the end. And there it is. Your race leaders pitting. Jenson Randall pitting. Sandro Dulis, I imagine, pitting. Yes. Hit the button at the right time, because those tenths are going to matter here. And sure enough, everyone going to be leaving as they enter. see what almost looks like debris there on one of the rear tires of Nicolo Falzaresi. I'm going to guess that's just a quirk of the game. And only Sandro Dulis going to the mediums. So on the restart, we'll see what kind of grip he's able to get. Koivuniemi, I feel, is so good in these situations. He's going to put Sandro Dulis under pressure pretty quickly. But quite a few race leaders today. A new driver for the restart compared to Freya Balai and Jenson Randall at the start of the race. It'll be Nicolo Falzaresi, the Italian in the Alfa Romeo. And we'll see when the safety car is going to come in. It's not going to be too many laps. We may only have DRS for one or two of those laps, depending on when the safety car comes in. And as a reminder, the penalty for Jägerström, as far as we're able to tell, was for track limits. Those are reviewable. So we'll be more concerned as we get to towards the climax of this race on where Jägerström crosses the line, not where the timing board's going to place him after that penalty is applied. We will let the stewards sort that one out later. So it looks like we'll have one more lap behind the safety car. So if it comes in at the end of this lap, we should have hopefully 3 laps of racing. So safety cars as popular in Abu Dhabi as they are in Baku. We've seen Pablo Baz during the broadcast hit the outside barrier coming out of the chicane. We saw Logan Oren spun on the first turn of the first lap. Dion Stahl, Sky Schundemeyer. The onboards in the highlights will tell the full story there. And Noah Smith and the Haas, currently P18, been trying to rejoin the lobby. I'm sure he's watching the broadcast from the garage regardless. Max Mulder back at the queue, did not pit. Ivan Brito did not pit. Safety car is going to be in this lap as we come around turn 9. So it's going to be Nicolo coming through the hotel that will restart. Freya Bly, Jägerström, Jenson Randall all on soft tires behind him. And Jenson, I almost wonder if he's grateful for Sandro Dulis being on the medium. Protect him from pressure behind. So another race win for Jenson Randall definitely in play here with the late safety car. As Nicolo trying to get the tires to temperature. We are racing again. We're going to be starting lap 27 here shortly in Abu Dhabi. Yet another safety car. We're hoping it's full clean racing from here. And a good restart for Nicolo Falzaresi. Freya Balai already 6 tenths behind. Jägerström just behind him. Sandro Dulis, the grip coming into play, the gap increasing to Jenson Randall, and Koivuniemi stuck behind the Greek driver. Jägerström coming around. Freya Balai in front, Jenson Randall just behind him, and you see Koivuniemi already in P5. The Aston Martin's looking strong here on the restart. Falzaresi 7 tenths, as high as 7 tenths on the interval coming into the chicane. as we follow on. It's not quite a straight, but it is a DRS zone and will come into play later, certainly on the last lap. The Williams of the Danish driver, rookie Jamie Jagerstrom, around turn 9. And these drivers going to be looking to catch up to Nicolo Falzaresi as quickly as they can. But they will only have one lap of DRS to really do so. Perfect situation for the young Italian driver. And we are in lap 28. Might see a few purple laps there, but right now it's Nicolo 1:23.4. And that's what a low fuel load, new soft tires, and clean air in front of you can do for you on this track. No DRS for this lap. Falzaresi, Freya Balai, Jagerstrom, Jensen Randall, Alexei Koivuniemi, but Koivuniemi 2 seconds behind Jensen Randall as Jensen Randall looks and gets the overtake done on Jamie Jagerstrom without the aid of DRS, but Jensen Randall perhaps using the ERS. We've seen him use it before on that straight to good effect to get the overtake done. And there you see the variety in liveries coming around the corner there. Purple sector there for Jensen Randall. He is pushing as Freya Balai falls out of DRS range of Nicolo Falzaresi. That could be huge going into the last lap. And Nicolo, one more turn and he'll be starting the last lap of the race. And he's got 1.1 on Freya Balai. DRS is enabled, but Nicolo pushing, trying to keep Freya from getting that DRS, although he's flashing now. Balai will be able to see that, but is it going to be too little too late for him? It's Jensen Randall applying the pressure now. And he'll have the benefit of DRS and getting the overtake on Freya Balai. He'll be able to close that gap on Nicolo Falzaresi ahead. We go on board, Jensen Randall. Overtake on, DRS enabled. P2 for Jensen Randall. Closing the gap. Is he going to get DRS? I think he might get DRS coming out of the chicane on Nicolo Falzaresi. As Jagerstrom also getting the pass done on Freya Balai. And indeed it is DRS for Jensen Randall. 9/10 is quite a bit of time to make up. Coming around, P9. Nicolo Falzaresi only has a few more turns to get his first win of the season here in his race back. Valiant effort from Jensen Randall. As low as P14 at one point. Gets a few overtakes in the last lap, but as we go into turn 15, there are only 2 more to go. And now turn 16, the Italian driver in the Alfa Romeo, Nicolo Falzaresi, going to get his first win of the season over Jensen Randall. As you see Jensen Randall into the wall. Freya Balai finished behind Jagerstrom. Jagerstrom did finish across the line third. We'll see what the stewards say. Sandro Dulis after them. Koivuniemi, the Spaniard Noah Rosso Abia, Vincenzo Torre, Luke Smith, Nick Van Gelder, Senna Hervire, rounding out those who have finished. But what a drive from the Italian driver, Nicolo Falzaresi, in the Alfa Romeo, getting it done. A strong qualifying session for him, a strong race. And Jensen Randall, Freya Balai just ran out of time there at the end. Only DRS in the last lap. Valiant effort from Jensen Randall, but just a little bit too much time to make up. He was as far back as, I believe, 1.4 seconds from the race leader going into that one. Well done, Nicolo, the winner of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, round 7 of SRL. Certainly my driver of the day, and the game agrees. We'll take a look at the final unofficial standings again. Some track limits penalties, which are reviewable. But as it currently stands, your podium, Nicolo Falzaresi, Jensen Randall, Freya Balai. Aston Martin continuing their stranglehold on the Constructors' Championship. And Jensen Randall going to be increasing the gap at the top as well, especially with Logan Ord not able to finish this race. Well done for these three. The next race, it's going to be at the Red Bull Ring. Some good racing. But today, it's the Italian Nicolo Falzaresi taking it along with the fastest lap. Jensen Randall, Jägerstrom over the line in third. Freya Belay, Sandro Dulis. Join us for round 8 in Austria. A fantastic race today. My name is Bryan Kessler, and we will see you for round 8.